Imagine sitting in the most boring meeting of your life while a scary general just keeps talking. And you just sit there, quiet, saying absolutely nothing. But the whole time, you already know something that could change the entire war. You are just waiting for the right moment to drop it. Okay, so let me catch you up real quick. This is Arthur Leywin, a kid who was reborn into a fantasy world, worked so hard he became one of the most powerful people alive, and now the whole country is depending on him to help stop an invasion army called the Alacryans. Right now Arthur is stationed at something called the Wall, which is basically the last gate standing between the people of Dicathen and complete destruction. Behind it are regular people, families, merchants, kids. In front of it are monsters, dungeons, and an enemy army that fights completely differently from anything Dicathen has ever seen before. So the military is stressed and Arthur has been called into a war council meeting. Now here is the thing about Arthur. He does not walk into rooms making noise. He does not flex or announce himself. He just sits down, watches, and listens. And the generals treat him like a guest, like oh how nice the young lance showed up, give him a seat. They have absolutely no idea what is about to happen. So the meeting starts and the guy running it is Senior Captain Trodius Flamesworth. Arthur already does not like him, and honestly fair, because of what his friends Jasmine and Hester told him about the Flamesworth values. And what he sees in that room only confirms it. His captain, Captain Caera, walks up and presents a report on the dungeon clearing timeline. 1 week, he says. Trodius looks at it, looks up, and says 1 week is too long. His own captain pushes back saying that rushing this will cause more casualties. But Trodius calmly explains that if those dungeons overflow with monsters, they will pour into the city and kill entire families. So yes, some soldiers might die faster, but fewer civilians will die overall. For days, final answer. This man calculated human lives like a math problem and did not even blink. Now Arthur is sitting through all of this, watching, listening, saying nothing while they talk about underground tunnels being dug into enemy territory, a train being built to connect to the nearest city, and hidden teleportation gates buried somewhere in the beast glades. It is a lot of information, a lot of strategy, and Arthur is just there taking it all in without saying a single word. Then the meeting starts wrapping up and Trodius turns to Arthur almost like an afterthought and says sorry you had to sit through all of that, like Arthur was just there visiting. And Arthur goes, actually, before you end the meeting, I would like to tell you what I have learned about the enemy. The whole room goes quiet. He knew something this whole time. He sat through an entire hour of military planning, tunnel discussions, and 4-day deadlines, and he had information that this entire army did not have. He tells them that Alacryan magic, the enemy's power, is not the same as Dicathen magic. It is specialized, limited, and specific. And then he drops the key question on the whole room. What is stopping a striker from forming his mana into a protective shield? He lets that hang in the air and the generals start looking at each other because they never thought about that. They have been fighting the Alacryans this whole time and nobody stopped to ask why the enemy only uses their magic in certain ways. Arthur did. Arthur figured it out. And he had been sitting on it the whole time just waiting for the right moment. Now here is where it gets really interesting. Trodius spent the entire meeting being the scary one with his cold orders, brutal deadlines, and zero emotion. He was supposed to be the most powerful presence in that room. And then Arthur, quietly and with zero drama, reveals that he has been carrying war-changing intelligence the whole time and just casually shares it at the very end like it was nothing. That is the behavior of someone so far ahead of everyone else that they do not even need to try. Arthur came into that room already holding a negative bias toward Trodius, because of what his friends Jasmine and Hester told him about the Flamesworth values. He watched that bias get confirmed across an entire meeting. And then, despite all of that, he still shared what he knew, because the people behind that wall needed every edge they could get. Trodius thought he was running the room. Arthur just let him think that. And that is the difference between someone who is loud about their power and someone who simply does not need to be. The most dangerous person in that room was never the one giving the orders. It was the quiet one in the corner taking notes. Before you go, Arthur mentioned that the information about Alacryan magic is not fully confirmed yet, so he told the unit heads to watch and study the enemy first before acting on it. Which means the real question is, what happens when they actually confirm it and Dicathen's army starts using that weakness against the enemy? Does that change the whole war? Drop your theory in the comments because I genuinely want to know what you think. And next episode the tunnels are being dug, the teleportation gates are being hunted, and the Alacryans are still out there planning something. Something big is coming and you do not want to miss it. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you are not already here, and I will see you in the next one.